I've been using it as my personal mini PC for quite a few weeks now, and I can already say that it's the best mini PC I've tried so far this year if what you're really looking for is to work hard on a truly compact machine. It's called GEEKOM IT15. Maybe its biggest downside is the noise, since the fan is almost always running, but I guess that's the price you have to pay to cool such a processor packed into such a small design. I've used it for video editing, photo editing, for multimedia use like watching HDR movies, and also for playing games that require a lot of power. Later on, you'll see how it handles AAA games, but for now, you're watching the unboxing of this mini beast with an Intel Core Ultra 9285H processor. And as you can see, it comes with absolutely everything, including the HDMI cable and this Visa mount, because you can, for example, put it behind a TV or behind a monitor and create a sort of all-in-one setup. And now, here's this little beast from GEEKOM, the IT15. What's surprising about its design, as you can see, is that the exterior is kind of like a plastic material, which means it doesn't scratch or break easily. However, its biggest downside is that it gets dirty very easily. Even if you've just washed your hands like I have, it gets smudged right away. But something I did like is that the internal structure, and you'll see this when I open up this mini PC and show you its insides, is actually made of metal. And also, that metal cage can withstand up to 200 kilos of pressure, so it's quite durable. By the way, there are those rubber pads, which are quite grippy, perfect to keep it from slipping on any surface. Here you can see it compared to the last mini PC I tested from GEEKOM, the GEEKOM A8. It was quite a bit smaller than this one, and the design was a bit more similar to the Apple Mac Mini. This one is a bit bigger, by the way. It weighs around 600 grams. And now, let's look at the ports. 2 USB 3.2 ports, a headphone jack that also works as a combo, and a power button with a white LED light. You can see the metal grills on the side, along with a Kensington lock slot. And on the back, you can already see all these vents here. This is where the air from the built-in fan would come out. And well, this is where the most important ports would be. USB Type-C 4.0 power input, HDMI 2.0, an RJ45 Ethernet port with 2.5 GB per second. It would also have a USB 3.2 and another 2.0 port. It would add another USB Type-C 4.0 and another HDMI 2.0. I would have liked to see an HDMI 2.1 though. But anyway, on the other side, as you can see with a metal grill, it would have an SD 4.0 card reader. Honestly, that's appreciated, and I think it's really aimed at the real use of this mini PC, which is for working, for example, editing photos or editing videos. And now, let's dive right into this GEEKOM IT15, which you're seeing turned on for the first time. Honestly, it loads pretty quickly, mainly because of the memory it has. Later, I'll show you some charts so you can see the real power of this GEEKOM IT15. Honestly, it looks spectacular with that black design, and here you're seeing some references to its power. I'm going to show you some statistics, some rankings, some numbers. But anyway, the main thing is its Intel Core Ultra 9285H processor with 16 threads, 16 cores, and it can go up to 4.9 GHz with a TDP of 28 watts. I'll talk about the graphics card later when I test the AAA games. You'll see that next. But the RAM is dual-channel DDR5 with up to 128 GB. All of this is upgradable. You'll see it later. It also includes Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4, as well as Intel AI Boost, which enhances artificial intelligence, and it also comes with Windows 11 out of the box. You can already see all the YouTube tabs with 4K HDR videos, and here you can see that the memory is using 72%. Here I've installed 32 GB of RAM, and even so, the memory is quite fast. Like I said, you can go up to 128. Honestly, it works really well, although if you buy this GEEKOM IT15, it's specifically for this, for more professional, more demanding video editing. Thanks to the processor it has, you won't see any kind of lag, not just when rendering, but also while working. It doesn't freeze at any moment. It's also good for editing photos, for example, or 3D images. In short, heavy workloads won't be a problem here. You won't have any issues. It won't even break a sweat. And you're already seeing the live rendering. The video isn't sped up. Honestly, it's quite a bit faster, for example, than my MacBook Pro. But now I'm going to open up this GEEKOM IT15 so you can see what's inside. And the thing is, what you're about to see today is gold, or at least it's worth as much, if not more, than actual gold. I hope someone watches this video in 2028 and can say that these parts have finally normalized in price and don't cost as much as they used to. But anyway, for now, you should know that you can put in 2 SSDs, one up to 4 TB and the other up to 2 TB, so that's 6 TB in total. And you can also add another extra, a 2.5-inch SATA HDD up to 2 TB, so that's 8 TB of storage in total. Also, as I said, you can put in dual-channel DDR5 up to 128 GB. On the other hand, it's very easy to remove the cover, add or remove the memory or RAM, but a promise is a promise. Let's test some AAA games. Well, this one's a bit old. It's from 2016. You'll see 2 more next, each one more recent. The last one, in fact, I think came out this year or last year. But anyway, here is The Witcher 3. It's a great game, still a great game even today. And I'm going to set everything to Ultra so you can see how it runs with 4K resolution on this monitor. By the way, I'll do a review of this monitor later. The previous one I had broke, and this one is a Quantum Dot OLED made by Samsung, but it costs half as much. That'll be in another video. You can see here how it runs. It's running at 21 frames per second. I recommend lowering the resolution to 2K or Full HD to play at a more appropriate frame rate. And this is how this mini PC would sound at full power. You've already seen some thermal images, and I think that would be the biggest downside of this mini PC. The fan is almost always on. But let's move on to the next game. It's Sinua, which, well, it's a great game. It came out a little after The Witcher 3, and you're seeing it at a very high resolution in 2K. By the way, here I'm going to show you some charts, some benchmarks of the integrated graphics. In this case, in this GEEKOM IT15, it's an Intel Arc 140T. Also, there you can see the scores, the frames per second of some games. It works at about the same rate as The Witcher 3, but let's move on to the most demanding game. This is a console melting or PC melting game. That's what some people have called it. And it's Final Fantasy 16. It was released not too long ago, and the truth is that it's pretty demanding in terms of power. It requires a lot of resources. And here I'm going to play it in 4K, pay close attention. But everything, absolutely everything is set to low. It doesn't look too good. I recommend you set it to Full HD as well. And the frame rate, just like in the previous 2 games, is around 20-something frames per second. In 2K and Full HD, it would be at a more playable rate. In short, if you're going to buy this GEEKOM IT15, you can see that you can play games on it. Especially in Full HD resolution, it handles them quite well. That said, I think that, especially considering its processor, it's more intended for intensive work, for example, video editing or photo editing. In my case, I've mainly used it for video editing. And honestly, it's very fast, especially considering its weight and size. Hey, and how much does this GEEKOM IT15 cost? Well, it used to cost 1,900 euros. Now it's 1,349 euros. Now it costs 1,399, but with the coupon I leave you below, in the purchase link in the video description, it costs 1,189 euros. Considering how PC and mini PC prices are today, well, this configuration with 32 GB of RAM and a 2 TB SSD is probably one of the cheapest currently on the market. And you already know that the market is crazy right now. In short, a perfect mini PC for work. If you don't want to take up too much space and if the sound of a fan isn't too annoying for you, if you work with headphones like I do, honestly, you notice it less. Also, its AI support and the fact that it can run up to 4 4K monitors at the same time adds extra utility for those who want to get the most out of this GEEKOM IT15. And, if you have any questions, you can leave them for me in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, share this video, and leave me a like so I can keep growing. If you like more powerful mini PCs, You already know you'll find the best ones here on Test-A-Do. And now, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and see you soon. Sondo.